Hello and welcome to I Am Movies. The movie begins in Czech Republic where a young girl, Jonna, returns home from school to meet her father. Her father gives her a necklace belonging to her late mother for an occasion. Soon her uncle arrives and her father tells her to go get dressed. As she leaves, an assassin ruthlessly attacks her father. Jonna walks in and screams as she sees the assassin killing her father. He tells her to run, but the assassin was able to hit her in the arm as she rushes out to meet her uncle outside. 7 years later in Slovenia, an assassin known as Morgan, who only kills bad and corrupt, is working for an agent named Caldwell. Morgan is to assassinate the leader of a dangerous human trafficking mafia in Eastern Europe named Luka Lesek. Just as Morgan is about to eliminate Lesek, another assassin shoots him in the leg, making him miss his target. The mafia gang goes after him, and he manages to eliminate some of them. Morgan escapes through the window and lands on a parked car. He enters the car and drives away, but the unknown assassin shoots at the car tires and it crashes. The mafia gang rush to the crashed car, but Morgan already escaped. As the mafia gang searches the car, the mysterious assassin kills Lesek, and Morgan watches everything unfold from his hiding spot. Later, Morgan calls Caldwell and tells him about the incident as he removes bullets from his body. He tells Caldwell that it was a calculated attack and that the person knew he was there. As they are about to end the call, Caldwell tells Morgan a new job came in. Morgan tells him to give it to someone else, but Caldwell tells him it's a big job for him. He wishes Morgan safe travel and tells him they'll talk more about it when he returns. Soon, Morgan receives a video call from his girlfriend Sophie, and they talk about how much they miss each other. Meanwhile, in France, an Interpol agent Voss presides over a meeting concerning the death of Lesek. She tells them that the death of Lesek is more than just a gang war, and asks the other agents to double their efforts and use every resource they have to find the killer. Meanwhile, Morgan has returned to Rome, Italy, to meet Sophie, a kindergarten teacher. The two meet, and they both hug each other in excitement. While in their hotel room, they get romantic, and Sophie sees his wound and asks him about it. He lies to her that he fell from a bike, but she's not having it. The next day, Morgan meets with Caldwell in a restaurant. Morgan tells Caldwell that he is out, but Caldwell convinces him and tells him the next contract is for 6 kills.
6 separate contracts,
each worth $1 million. Morgan is reluctant at first, but later reconsiders his retirement plan. Later, Morgan and Sophie go shopping, and while they are at it, Morgan notices a man staring at them, but he lets it slide. At night, while they are both walking, an assassin attacks Morgan. Morgan defends himself and kills the assassin as Sophie watches. Morgan searches the body and takes some pictures of him. Now at the hotel, Sophie is scared as she asks Morgan how he was able to take out the assassin and why he'd searched his body. Morgan tells her that he doesn't know and that he's trying to figure it out too. Later, Morgan calls Caldwell and asks to see the contracts, stating that he has been targeted twice in a week and he wants to know why. Caldwell promises to do some digging around to find answers for him. Later, Morgan goes to Caldwell's house and shows him the picture of the assassin. Caldwell says he knows the assassin is Alec Draco,
his name's Alec Drakos,
and gives Morgan some details about him, adding that he was the same assassin that tried to kill him in Slovenia. Caldwell tells Morgan that he has now earned $1 million because Alec is one of the 6 in the contract. Morgan is not happy about it, but Caldwell tells him he doesn't have a choice. Morgan realizes that he now has to kill 5 more assassins who have also been contracted to kill him. Caldwell gives Morgan a flash drive containing information about the other assassins. As soon as he gets home, he plugs in the flash and sees all their details. The first is Ansel Ryder, a ruthless psychopath who collects fingers from his victims as a souvenir. The second assassin, Pablo Martinez, is a professional poisoner. The third assassin, Yuko, is skilled with blades and in close combat. The fourth assassin is Charming Demir, an opportunistic sociopath who is currently in a Bosnian prison. And fifth, Falk is a legend and problematic assassin working within the intelligence community. She has no positive ID, photos, or patterns. From the contract, Morgan finds out that each kill must be confirmed by the receipt of a finger sent to a postal box in Paris. Immediately, Morgan begins to prepare himself for what's to come, and also secures his place with trackers and CCTV cameras. Meanwhile, Agent Voss visits Demir in prison and kills him. She bribes the guards and cuts off his fingers. Turns out Agent Voss is Falk. In Paris, a police inspector named Leon receives a package containing the fingers of Alec Draco and delivers it to a doctor. Then he meets Jonna, the mastermind behind the deadly game. Later that night, Morgan knocks out Leon and takes him to an unknown destination. He asks him about the package he received, who he is, and who he works for.
Who are you, and who do you work for?
Leon tells him how he was anonymously contacted to receive those packages under the name Matt. As Morgan researches Matt and Inspector Leon, he gets a call from Falk, She tells him that they need to team up, but Morgan is not buying it. Falk asks him to give her a location, and she'll be there, but he tells her that he prefers to talk electronically. To entice him, she sends him the location of Pablo Martinez as a gift, then hangs up. However, Morgan flashes back to what Caldwell said when he asked him about Alec Draco and decides to hack Caldwell's computer. Morgan finds out that Caldwell lied to him, and he decides to visit him. Morgan confronts Caldwell and threatens to shoot him in the head. Morgan reveals that he knows that Alec Draco used to work for Caldwell and that he had given Alec his location while he was in Slovenia. Caldwell cries as he apologizes for his mistakes, and Morgan tells him that he used to see him like a father, then leaves. On his way to Barcelona, he receives a call from Falk. She tells him that she'd found the person that links them all, Marius Illich, Jonna's uncle. Marius owns a major pipeline construction company and had used each of the assassins to eliminate his competitors, including Jonna's father. Morgan feels Marius now see them as loose ends, but Falk tells him that it could also be Jonna who had set them up against each other.
She could have set us up against each other.
Because she couldn't figure out which of them had killed her dad. Morgan finds Pablo Martinez living in an isolated area. As Morgan was about to shoot Martinez, his daughter runs up to him and he carries her in his hands, stopping Morgan from taking his shot. Later, Morgan finds Martinez chopping wood and asks him if the girl was his daughter, and he says yes. Martinez begs Morgan to spare his daughter and that he had since stopped killing for over 8 years. It appears that Martinez didn't know about the contract. Morgan tells him that there is $1 million bounty on him and that he should be careful because they are coming for him. Later that night, Yuko breaks into Martinez's house to kill him, but Morgan attacks her first and they get into a fight. She manages to stab him and they later throw themselves out the window. Yuko grabs an axe to defend herself, and as she was about to kill Morgan, Martinez shoots her. Morgan pretends to thank Martinez by shaking hands, but he quickly cuts off one of his fingers, telling him it is for his good.
So you're in good.
And proceeds to cut Yuko's finger. Meanwhile, Ansel Ryder breaks into Morgan's apartment and steps on one of the trackers. As Morgan gets into his car, he sees his phone showing a triggered tracker. He quickly checks his camera feed and sees Ansel in his apartment. Meanwhile, Falk injects Caldwell with poison in his sleep. As he wakes up, she asks him for Morgan's personal files and tells him to delete hers in exchange for the antidote. Caldwell offers her a drink and quickly sends Falk's personal file to Morgan before showing it to Falk. She deletes it and asks him to open Morgan's personal file. He refuses and she angrily throws the antidote away. The poison weakens Caldwell and he drops his glass of wine. As Falk goes close to check his pulse, he attacks her and she kills him. Morgan calls Caldwell, but someone else picked. Soon, Falk calls Morgan and tells him she now knows everything about him, since she had taken Caldwell's laptop with her. However, Morgan sends her a copy of her file to show that he knows who she is. Falk tells Morgan that Ansel was already on his way to kill Sophie. Morgan quickly calls Sophie to inform her about the danger, giving her the location of his safe house. While they were still talking, Sophie sees Ansel and she runs to hide. Morgan calls the police, and as they arrive, Ansel escapes. Morgan meets Sophie in the safe house, and she angrily demands to know what's going on. Morgan tells her all she needed to know about him. Sophie tells him she's pregnant.
I'm pregnant.
And that she will be traveling to Lisbon to be with her brother till Morgan fixes his mess. But Morgan says she has to leave immediately, so he takes her to an airport to board a private jet. Morgan traces Ansel's location, and as he gets in, he sees all of Ansel's torture instruments. Meanwhile, Agent Voss gathers armed cops to kill both Ansel and Morgan. She promises Jonna that she will eliminate them for her. Meanwhile, Ansel is back at his place. He grabs a bottle of alcohol and was about to pour out some, but Morgan quickly shoots him a lethal injection in his neck. Morgan asks him about Yakov's death, but he says he doesn't know about it. Morgan shoots him to get the truth. But he tells Morgan that it was all Falk's doing. Ansel cuts off his own fingers and Morgan kills him immediately. Soon, Agent Voss and her team arrive at Ansel's place. Morgan spots her from the window and devises a plan to escape. Morgan pours gasoline on the floor to scare the cops and cleverly escapes by blowing up the window and diving out of it, causing the cops to take cover. He quickly steals an ambulance and they give him a hot chase. The chase comes to an end as they get to a bridge. Morgan now has nowhere to go as cops have blocked both ends of the bridge. However, he makes a clever move to blow up the ambulance as he dives into the river. Agent Voss quickly requests divers to find his body immediately. At night, while they are still searching the river for Morgan's body, he approaches Inspector Leon and tells him that Agent Voss is the same as Falk. Morgan asks Inspector Leon to help him expose her, and they both work together. Inspector Leon lures Agent Voss to the morgue to show her Morgan's body, but he quickly points his gun at her and asks her to say who she is. Agent Voss attacks Morgan and they both begin to fight. Agent Leon, who is now injured, hits the emergency bell and calls for backup. Morgan nails Falk's hands to a shelf with his knife and punches her in the face. A cop intervenes as he was about to shoot her and he escapes. Morgan is taking care of his wounds, and he comes across a piece of news concerning Mariusz and Jonna celebrating a new contract. Morgan confronts Jonna in her office, and she tells him that she is only working with the agency to eliminate her father's killer and expose her uncle. Morgan tells her that Agent Voss was the same person as Falk and that she has been played.
That's the woman that killed your father.
Jonna tells him that she already received news from the agency that Agent Voss has died of a heart attack. Morgan goes to his safe house to confirm her status and finds out it's true. He immediately texts Sophie, telling her it's all over now. He visits her that night while she's asleep and promises to come back once he gets some of his stuff. As Morgan was getting his stuff, he receives a call from Falk. He soon realizes that she's not dead. Falk sends him a picture of Sophie tied to a bathtub, and she tells him that her life now depends on him. Morgan rushes to the location and calls Inspector Leon for help. As Morgan opens the door, he realizes that he had fallen into a trap, as Falk had set a countdown to disarm bomb for him. She takes his gun and tells him to decide to either watch Sophie drown or trigger the bomb and die. As Falk watches Sophie drowns, Leon walks in. He tells Falk to turn around slowly, but she quickly shoots him twice and leaves. Luckily, Leon struggled to save Sophie from drowning as Morgan waits for the bomb to finish its countdown. As the countdown finishes, he quickly gives Sophie CPR, and she survives. Morgan tells her he needs to finish it and asks her to call an ambulance for Inspector Leon. As Morgan rushes out to find Falk, he sees her crossing the street and screams her name. As she turns to look at him, Morgan shoots her in the chest. Finally, Morgan and Sophie are now safe in Portugal. But in a twist of events, Falk luckily survives the gunshot. Morgan stood as a symbol of resilience and determination. Revered by some and feared by others, he understands that his mission is greater than personal gain. It is about creating a world where justice prevails. And that's the end of this recap. Don't forget to share and like the video to help this channel out. Thanks for watching and see you at the next one.